Hi everyone, and welcome to a much anticipated review. And of course, I'm talking about TForce Yuan Li. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I don't want to be disrespectful towards anybody. Anyway, very briefly, TForce is a new company, as most of you are aware of. I can't really tell who is involved in it. I don't really know who is involved, but surely there must be some parties here which are previous employers of other companies or something, because the level of the product and what they've been able to achieve, I find it a little bit hard to believe that it was just made by someone that had never had any true experience in this area. And you can definitely see that they paid, they know what they're doing, from the packaging, which is an experience in itself. I mean, at this price, to be able to, and this is why sometimes I say that, okay, although we're going to throw this box away, we know that, or we're probably not going to keep it. Well, in this case, maybe I'll keep it. But when we start to cross certain thresholds of price, we start to expect certain things. And it's always a pleasure when you see a cheaper IEM, like for example the HD Sound. The HD Sound for under $50 has an unbelievable packaging. I mean, the accessories that it brings, the overall quality of what is involved in the packaging just shows that it can be done. And when I see some more expensive products not paying that particular attention, and then the product itself is nothing also spectacular, you kind of think that, oh well, maybe I'm getting a little bit ripped off here. But anyway, back to the Yuan Li. Packaging is absolutely top notch. This is as good as I would expect to get. For example, I mean, I've got a box here of the oxygen, and I mean, it doesn't stay behind the oxygen in any way. Anyway, just a quick run through to the unboxing. Very nicely textured box. I can't really, it's got a nice texture, this cardboard, really nice. It opens up like a kind of a book. Okay, you open it up, and once it opens up, you have these brochure papers, or whatever I don't know what you want to call them. Anyway, and put it over here. In this particular corner, you find this box, which is exquisite. It is so nice, really, really nice. It brings a perfect cable. I mean, there are cables like this from XINHS, and similar ones from KBR and from Yinyo, and those cables are costing anywhere between $30 to $60, and for them to offer a cable like that shows again that they've paid attention to what they're doing. On the top, it takes away this foam, and we have the tips, balanced, base enhancement, and foams. And everything is beautifully presented. I mean, it is really a pleasure. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I expect. When I pay $100 or $200 or $300 for an IM, I expect this. I want this. Period. You know, I don't want a box with. And in that aspect, there are certain brands which, I mean, I don't want to really say names, but there's one particular brand which I really like their products, and I'm talking about GS Audio. I really like their products, and I feel that when it comes to the packaging side, they really must think about improving it a little bit. Anyway, box, really nice, beautiful. I mean, a pleasure, real pleasure. IMs themselves, here we go. Stunning. Honestly, stunning. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, reflective. You can even see me there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's got a one port over there. Doesn't seem to have, oh well, as well, sorry, another port over there in the back. Okay, nothing, smooth, perfect. Craftsmanship is top. I mean, really nice. 2-pin connector. I'm using TANCHJIM tips, the standard ones, the bass enhancement ones. They fit me okay, but just the sound just wasn't right. So I've got these TANCHJIM tips. that actual filter there looks very much as well something like a TANCHJIM filter. I'm not going to say it is, but it looks very much like it. Anyway, very nice, all metal nozzle. The ones that I'm using here from TANCHJIM are actually also the bass enhancement tips. I tried the treble enhancement, and honestly, I found the sound with these ones just a little bit more to my pleasure. But both were very nice. I just left these on. Cable is very much similar to the standard cable. Sorry, very much similar to the standard cable. The only reason why I'm using this one, it's because it's a 2.5mm balanced. Okay, so overall, I mean, seriously, this for $129, I believe, this is a really nicely built product. Beautiful in every aspect. I mean, nothing really to falter there. On to what we all want to know. What is the sound like? What do I think like of the sound? Well, the initial version, which unfortunately I wasn't able to hear, I tried to get hold of it. I tried to be part of the European tour, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Anyway, the initial one, and from other reviewers that I know, they all complained about it being overly bright. Well, overly energetic, and had as much as a 13 dB peak in certain areas. I will assume, and will come to the conclusion that that amount of brightness, that it would perhaps be very good when it came to detail retrieval and resolving and so on and so forth, but it also, I'm sure, made it more fatiguing. This one is the revised version, and for that I give kudos to TForce, to actually having listened to those reviewers that did the pre-release analysis of the Yuan Li, and actually listened to them and adjusted before starting the sales full force of the Yuan Li, and that goes to show that that's a company that wants to do things right. It wants to listen to its customers. It wants to do things right. And I honestly have no. If this is how they're going to do their work, you can be sure that I will be purchasing whatever items they launch next, because I mean, this is what I like. Listen to your customers. They know what they are saying. Pay attention to them, and if what they are saying is worthwhile, and then there's a lot of commonality between what they are saying, then there must be something there that should be attended to. And in that aspect, they are top notch. So sound, it's I would call this a warm Harman. Okay, it's very mellow. It's a very easy to listen to IM. It's just got this very organic, I like calling it old school. It's got this very old school sound to it. It's like vinyl. It's not from an age of CD players and digital. I'm sure you will understand what I'm saying. It's like listening to a good valve amplifier, and you're listening to a good transistor amplifier, and the valve just, I don't know, it just has something that is just that little bit more mellow. If that, of course, is what rocks your boat, if that's what you actually like, that type of sound. So it's got a very easy listening. It's a very easy listening experience. It suits a lot of genres of music. There's nothing really that it can't play, and it can play very well. Bass, it's warm. It's lush. It's got this nice deep. It goes deep. It has enough sub bass. But at the same time, it's fast. It's engaging. It's exciting. So if you play some EDM or some hip hop, no issues. But if at the same time you also put some I don't know, some jazz, the bass there is perfect as well. There's nothing that it really can't do with regards to the bass. Mids, again, and I think this is a product as well of having good bass. The mids are warm, lush, full. Vocals are amazing, female and male. I honestly didn't feel that one or the other were better. It's always very natural, very organic sounding. and that it's very engaging. It's a pleasure to listen to. There's no fatigue there. Treble. If the original ones, or if the pre-release version, let's put it that way, was better in that aspect, because that extra brightness that it had would help with resolving and so on and so forth. These ones are not as resolving. No, they're not, but they are what needs to be. Let's put it that way. They are what needs to be resolving in the perfect amount. But at the same time, they're not fatiguing. So if the pre-release were maybe more resolving, more detailed, more, they could go and fetch all the little nuances and the little sparkles, and these ones don't do it to such a good level, but you can listen to them for hours. While the pre-release one, from what the reviewers that were lucky to listen to those ones said, they were very fatiguing. They after a while you just got tired of them. Soundstage. I found the soundstage to be plenty deep, not the widest. It gave me almost a sensation that I was listening to music inside of a studio. For me, that's fine. I've got nothing against that. But maybe for those that like wider sound stages, it could be an issue. But for me, it was perfect. Imaging, spot on as well. Nothing to point the wrong way there. Detail is very good, although, like I mentioned before, the original ones, the pre-release ones, the pre-release ones were perhaps a little bit more detailed. Timbre and tonal balance, again, in my opinion, perfect. I mean, I was actually comparing them I compared them to a whole bunch of IMs, although I will just leave it for this comparison with the Oxygen. But I was actually listening to them against the blondes, and if that is one thing that I like about the blonde, it's how nice the tonal balance is, and the timbre. These ones are that, but a notch up, so really good. And finally, in terms of power, they definitely have a lot to gain from that. I mean, this connected to your cell phone is blasphemy, in my opinion, because they will underperform, and you have some EDXs connected to you put some KZ EDX or say MT1s connected to your phone, and those things will kill the Yuan Li. The Yuan Li connected to a phone is a crime. You have to really give it some power, and if you give it power, then this thing will perform amazingly well. Not well, amazingly well. How well will these perform? Well, that brings us to the comparisons. I will be comparing them in a part 2 with the HANA 2021 version. Okay, definitely will. But for this time, I compare them to the Oxygens, and the Oxygens are for me the reference in terms of a single DD. And to cut a very long story short, if you don't have money for Oxygen, the Yuan Li definitely are an option. Definitely are an option. Like I said, I still haven't tested the HANA, the 2021. And the HANA 2021, a lot of people say it's almost an Oxygen. So I am going to jump the gun and say that the Oxygen first, HANA second, and then these come in third in terms of how far you can go with your wallet. Okay, if your wallet allows, Oxygen definitely. If your wallet halfway, perhaps the HANA. But then again, the price difference between the HANA and the Yuan Li is so small that you take your choose there, you take your pick there. But anyway, back to what matters in terms of sound. This is a small Oxygen. It does almost what an Oxygen can do. The one area that I think the Yuan Lis are perhaps better, and not in all genres, only in certain genres, than the Oxygen, is in the bass. In the bass, yes, there are certain songs that the bass is just a little bit more textured here, or a little bit more resolving here in the Yuan Li than it is resolving in the Oxygen. The Oxygen almost gives you the sensation that it's struggling, okay? But it's not struggling, it just gives you that feeling. But we're talking minimal differences and with very few songs, and you have to be in almost ideal situations and with, you know, amazing gear and everything. I don't think the average person will really see that much of a difference, but for critical listening, yes, you will notice it. Mid-range Oxygen, period. And why? Because it's just got that, it's got the same lushness, the same warmth, the same tonal balance, but it has just that little bit extra energy which just makes things a little bit more engaging. The voices just come through with that little bit more energy, which personally I like. Treble, again, Oxygen. Down to, again, the fact that this retuned Yuan Li is not as energetic. Mind you, and I'll repeat that, we are not talking dramatic differences here. You notice it well enough, and it's up to you whether that difference justifies the price difference. Obviously, I mean, you can buy 2 Yuan Lis and cable and so on for the price of an Oxygen. As for soundstage, definitely Oxygen is better. That's where you start seeing detail retrieval. Oxygen is definitely better. There's no ifs or whats there. Imaging as well. It's in terms of power, again, the Oxygen benefits from power, but that's not one is better than the other because it needs more power or less power. No, that doesn't really matter. So just to recap, Yuan Li is a micro, let's put it that way, a micro Oxygen. That's my opinion. If you do not have the almost $300 or maybe the $250 when it's down on sale that you can to afford the Oxygen, definitely the Yuan Li. Definitely the Yuan Li. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm very much tempted in actually buying a second pair just for the sake of having a second pair. And those of you that know me know that I've got a little bit of an OCD when it comes to that. When I like something, I've got multiple pairs. I don't know. I guess I should see a doctor to kind of try and control that urge of mine. But very, very, very nice IM. Definitely one of the most probably the most anticipated releases of the second quarter of the second half of this year, sorry. And it hit the dots, it hit the spots, you know, everything's perfect. I'm really very pleased and very happy with what I was able to experience with the Yuan Li, and will carry on experiencing with the Yuan Li because it will definitely be part of my rotation now. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and like I said, I'll be doing a second part in a few more days once the Hana has played a few more hours and just like gotten more used to what it sounds like, and then adding on a little small part 2 to this comparison. That doesn't mean that if anybody else wants me to maybe compare it to some other IEM, as long as I have it, it will be a pleasure. Okay, thank you. Take care.